there was no one to judge you, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on what everyone else thinks is best for you? What about trusting your intuition and just going with what you think? Everyone has the power to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices, intuitive life coach, Christine McIver.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and I live in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. And right now it's raining here. So it's going to be really great for the grass, not so great for turning on our furnaces. But that's okay. At least we have warm homes to live in, right? We can find what to be grateful for today, and I am grateful for the warm home that I have. So today we are going to be talking about how to live a life of joy in the midst of crazy. Imagine being in joy no matter what happens around you. Can you imagine that? No matter what anyone else does or says, you remain in a state of joy. No longer saying, once this happens, then I'll be and have everything that I want, then I'll be happy. Today we're going to talk about taking back your power and stop waiting for your life to begin. We get to be the directors of our own dreams, our own life. And we can learn to move consciously through our choices into being in joy now. So what's going on for you now? Where are you at in your life? What's happening in your world? Been pretty calm, I think. I guess there's been another earthquake. There's, of course, always tragedies that we can look to. But for me, I'm just in a place of gratitude. I want to thank all of my listeners, each and every person, for tuning in. I received, this was a new adventure for me, as many of you know, and I received my numbers last week for the month of August, and I was absolutely thrilled and really, really, really grateful. So thank you so very much for taking the time to listen, and I really do hope that there was something that you heard that inspired you or helped you to move forward in your life and taught you something about how you can make a difference in your own life. You don't have to wait for someone else. I'd like to also ask for all of the listeners out there, whether you're listening live today or you're tuning in to a rebroadcast, what else would you like to hear about? What else would you like to learn? What is it that you would love to some support on? Email me at christine@inspiredchoices.ca, and I will do my very best to bring that to you as soon as possible. So last week we were talking about dreams and how they can come true, and how you do have the power each day to focus on your dreams and to make them a reality in your life experience. So last week and this week is really going to work together. We're really moving into taking back our power in both areas. And when we live in a place of joy, we are going to have the fertilizer in the ground to plant our dreams into. So this one really works very, very nicely in with last week's show, okay? And before we get started, I also have a contest. I did the contest last week. It went over great. We're going to do it again today. So if you're listening live, the very first caller that picks up the phone, calls in, just says hello, shares a question, shares what they're working on, shares where they're going in their life, you're going to receive a free 30-minute life coaching session, and we can do it over the phone, in person, over Skype, whatever works for you. And for every other caller, this week only, I've never done this before, every single person is going to receive a free angel card reading. And we're going to spend about 15 minutes on the phone going through doing that. Okay? So I can't wait to hear from everybody. So the question I want to pose to each and every one of you is, how do you stay in joy? What is it that helps you to come back to your joy and choose to stay there? I put the question out on Facebook, and some of my followers actually answered that. That was great. Tanya Goring, she says that her son Justin gives her joy, helps her to stay in her joy. So thank you, Tanya, for sharing that. And Carolyn Weatherson, who also answered the question, said yoga and meditation. Those are fabulous things to help bring us and keep us in our joy. So let's talk about this thing called joy. What does joy truly mean? Well, the definition of joy is intense and especially ecstatic happiness the expression or manifestation of such feelings, a source or an object of pleasure or satisfaction, to fill with ecstatic happiness, pleasure, or satisfaction, or to be in joy. So that is the definition of it. But what does it really mean? What does it mean to you and to me in our day-to-day lives? In the world and society right now, it seems sometimes things can be very, very overwhelming. And a lot of times lately, the energy's been so heavy. If you've been following, what's going on in the news over the last 6 to 8 months, it has been very, very heavy. And it does impact us. And, like a friend of mine said, turn on the news for 5 minutes and watch that, and you'll hear a minimum of 5 stories of sadness or anger or injustice. And how the heck do we stay in our joy when that's what's going on around us? Finding joy can be as easy as turning the channel to something that makes you smile. Speaking to a friend, maybe about great news that they've had. Or maybe going out into nature or playing with your pet or your young children. This past weekend, I spent some time with 2 small children, Owen and Connor, and Owen is just 3, and what a pleasure to be with him. He was playing with these large train tracks and all these different train sets he had, and just witnessing his joy in the little things was so wonderful. Staying present in the moment and watching his eyes light up when we would laugh. It was wonderful. It was a joyful moment, but it was really about being conscious and staying in the moment. I also spent time at a marketplace, a small business community network event on Monday, and met some very inspiring people who shared their successes with all of us. And it gave hope. And when we have hope in our lives, maybe we don't have a lot of joy, but we can get to hope. We're on the path to moving to joy. So actually spending time with people, spending time in environments where you can start to plant some seeds of hope and start to plant some seeds of a little bit of laughter and start to plant some seeds towards your joy. That will help you to get there. What about having a nice meal that helps you to feel satisfied or content or even inspired? Sometimes some meals can feel absolutely amazing. And it doesn't have to be something you spend a lot of time on or a lot of money on. It can be something simply as a beautiful salad where you taste each and every piece of vegetable, and that can bring you joy. So also doing what you love can bring you joy. As a life coach, I love to inspire people towards their dreams and help them even find what it is that they don't even know what they want yet, but helping them to discover that gives me great joy. And I've always said to my children, I don't care what you do as long as you do what makes you happy, because when we are in joy, when we are doing things that make us happy, we are going to be vibrating at a different level. But it's really not enough to just look outside of us to what the things are that can bring us joy, to the people that can bring us joy. We have to look to find the joy within ourselves. It really is a place of peace when we have the joy already. So how do we do that, Christine? How do we find that joy within us, and how do we keep it? Well, it starts out very simply, like I've said many, many times, conscious habits. Conscious choices that you are making. As simply as in the morning and the evening, saying one affirmation every single day, morning and evening. I actually put it on a recipe card and put it beside my bedside table. The last thing I read before I go to bed, the first thing I read when I get up in the morning. I wake up, I've had a number of accidents, car accidents, and sometimes I wake up and my back's sore or my neck's sore. I don't want to carry that through my day with me. I want to seriously choose to have a joyful life. I want to have that joy, and I have to choose it first. You have to create this path you want to go on in order for you to get there. Right now in front of me, I have an affirmation calendar from Louise Hay, and it says, for today, Wednesday, September 21st, there is enough for everyone. The universe is always full and always flowing. Now, I I choose to believe that. And when I read that, that's a reaffirmation in my mind. And it affirms to me that I am on the right path, that I'm focusing on the right things. One of the biggest and best things to do to help you to stay and find joy within yourself is to create an attitude of gratitude. Change what you're focusing on. If you are having, maybe you're having a relationship that is not working. Maybe you can name 10 things about this other person that drive you absolutely crazy. Well, keep focusing there. You're going to get more of it. How about finding one thing about that person that brings you joy? One thing about that person that you can have some compassion for. One thing about that person that you can actually say, that's a good thing that that person is doing or saying. That will help to change what you're looking at and the way that you are feeling. The other big thing is you got to work on your issues. You got to work on your stuff. We all have stuff. We all come here to expand and become our best selves. You have to take control and you have to choose to work on your stuff. Work on forgiveness. Work on your self-confidence. Maybe work on your education. One of the things that I never felt self-confident about was reading. And I work at reading all of the time. And now I can very confidently say I'm a great reader. How about working on having some more compassion for other people? And one of the biggest things is basic self-care. It is huge. When we are focusing on basic self-care, we are taking care of the body that we are living in that's going to create this joy, and that is critical. Okay, so we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about what you can do to have joy and be in joy in your life consciously and directly impacting your future in the now. And I look forward to hearing from you. Pick up the phone, give me a call, and you will win a free life coaching session. If you're listening to this afterwards, if you contact me within 48 hours after listening to the rebroadcast of the show, you too will get an angel card reading. So email me at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. So we're going to go to break. Stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. Thank you. Hello, it's Christine. Sorry about that. I was kind of thinking about something. Welcome back. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and today we're talking about joy and how you can stay in joy, especially in the midst of crazy that's going on around us. Sometimes it's just, right in your home where things are crazy and you're really, really busy and everybody's running in 6 directions, and it's stopping for the moment and being grateful. What can you find to be grateful about? And that can bring you a seed of joy. So very, very important to find those seeds of joy. Or maybe it's the crazy that's going on in your workplace. Maybe things are just too busy and you can't seem to slow down enough to enjoy some of the parts of your job that you wanted to enjoy. Taking 30 seconds, taking 1 minute to stop and breathe and slow down and finding something to be happy about and something to be grateful about will bring you more joy in the moment. Sometimes we're going so fast in the world that we miss it. And I know this is an old cliche, but stop and smell the roses. That's what it means. Take a moment and put on a new set of eyes and see what's close and around you. It's so important to do this and really, really see what's happening. It's, the other big important thing to do is to pay attention to what you're doing to take care of yourself. How can you possibly find a way to be joyful when you're not taking care of who you are? The most important thing is to start with the basics. This is what we were talking about before we went to the show. Before we went to break, rather. Taking care of the basics. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? If you're not getting enough sleep, take back control. Take back control of your life and say, I need another half an hour sleep. Do you know how much a half an hour sleep can make in your life? How many of us, okay, raise your hand, everybody. How many of us hit the snooze button just saying, I just need a little bit more time. I just need a little bit more sleep. What if I just had another half an hour? How much better would that feel? control of this. Go to bed half an hour earlier. Set a date with yourself to do that. It is so important. Also, what about eating? Properly eating. It's too easy to grab the easiest thing, to grab the thing that's just sitting there, the chocolate bar when you're walking through the store, the bag of chips. Is that really going to give you what you need? Or is it just going to fill you up for a second and then you're going to crash afterwards? Take control of your life. Take back the joy in your life by feeding yourselves well. It's so, so important. And exercising. Did you know that our body responds to our thoughts as well? We are impacted by what we put into our bodies and our minds more than I think science has even discovered yet. Find something about yourself that you love and appreciate. And pay attention to that and be grateful for that. Louise Hay has this wonderful exercise where she says, look in the mirror and say, I love you. If you have never done that before, the first time you do it, it may be very overwhelming because we don't look into our eyes and say, I love you. We often look into everybody else's eyes and say, I love you. But finding something about yourself to be, it's not arrogant. It's actually gratitude. You were born into this body. You have this body and you have this soul. Speak to it as if it's that small child that you once were, and find something to be joyful about and be grateful about yourself. Say, I love you in the mirror into those eyes and feel the love coming back to you. Seriously, we can't make anybody else love us. We can't make anybody else give us joy. It's our job. Their job is to do the same for themselves, is to find the joy for themselves and to find love for themselves. We get to share love in this world, but it needs to first come from us. So when you can be the joy you wish to have, you will see more joy. You will experience more joy. And you will share more joy and impact the world in a more joyful, peaceful way. Now imagine that. That science can actually measure your emotions now. Science can measure the vibration coming from you. And when you are putting out a positive vibration, whether you are just sitting alone talking to yourself in a joyful way or smiling in a joyful way, you are sending energy waves out to the universe. And they can track that now. And you are impacting the world. You maybe can't impact the world, across nations. Maybe that's not something that you do right now, but you can impact the world by what you are focusing on. And imagine when all of us are focusing on more joy and more peace in the world. Imagine the difference that we can make in the world. We need to go with the flow of joy, and we need to find the pieces of joy that make us so happy. Often when we go looking for joy and we don't find it, we put more negative energy into the world. When we go out looking for it somewhere else. Well, what about finding it within ourselves first? Become a student of learning more about joy and take back your power. Joy is no different than any other education. It's not something that we are taught of very, very easily in the world, is it? But we can honestly learn more about it and how we can impact ourselves with joy and how we can bring more joy to the world. You are more capable than you know, and you can begin to educate yourself about that. But you have to choose. Do not stand around with your hands in your pocket waiting for joy to stop by. How many people do we know that are like that? They're sitting there with their arms folded going, well, life really bites. This isn't fun. How come everybody else gets it and I don't get it? Well, choose. Choose to start finding joy. Choose to start showing up in joy. It's 1% of a different choice today in 1 month will create a 30% difference in your life. Imagine what an impact you can have on your future when you decide to make calculated choices each and every day. But you have to do this. Just like Mahatma Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. Those were powerful words and very, very simply words. If you can find little things to be grateful for, they are going to lead to bigger things. So gratitude, write that down. What am I grateful for today? What if you were to ask yourself that question at the end of every day? Just ask yourself that one simple question. What am I grateful for today? For some people, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. For other people, I'm grateful I was able to get up out of bed today. For some more people, I'm grateful that I was able to keep some food down. For other people, I'm grateful that I even had food to have today. You, no matter where you are, you can find something to be grateful for. Begin by releasing old thoughts and be open to new ones coming into your life. You have to take control, and you can do it. And it's by the choices that you made. If you want more joy in your life, stand up and make it happen. Remember, what you focus on will multiply. That's the law of attraction. I've talked about the law of attraction. If you are into listening and learning about the law of attraction, it's very simple. Like attracts like. And so what you focus on, you're going to get more of. And even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, and you get to choose, that's okay. But think about this. If you go out looking, if you're driving your car and you're in a bad mood and you say out loud, people are terrible drivers, what are you going to notice? You're going to notice more people that are terrible drivers, and you're going to actually probably have them coming towards you more and more and more, because that's what you're focusing on. People with road rage focus on having all the bad things that are out there, and they attract more road rage to them. Think about somebody you know right now. Think about somebody that you know that is happy and joyful. How often do you hear them saying negative things? They are consciously and deliberately focusing on the things that they want to have show up in their life. If you expect the worst, it will show up. If you expect joy, you will see it, you will feel it, and you will begin to experience it. You'll have a different set of eyes, a different set of ears. Your sensors to joy within you and around you will increase. Pay attention to what you want and begin to choose it. Yes, there's things going on that make you crazy. You can turn them off. You can turn off the news. I'm not saying don't be aware, don't be cognizantly aware of what's going on in the news around us. But ever since we became such a global, international media, we can find out about the smallest countries in the world in 3.2 seconds. We are attracting, or we're seeing around us more of the negative, because that's how the news works, right? The news out there, they actually make money when they get more followers, and people are actually attracted more to the negative than they are to the positive, because they feel like they don't have control. You do have control. You can take back your joy, and you can begin to focus in a different way. So turn off the news. Listen to it for the, top 2 or 3 messages, and then turn it off. And then go and focus on something that gives you joy. The last thing you put into your mind before you go to bed at night should not be the international news that's going on around the world, because you can bet you're going to hear something negative. Do you really want to sleep with that? The last thing you put into your mind, the last words that you say out of your mouth, you take to bed with you at night. You take to bed with you. What do you want to take to bed with you? Do you want to take to bed with you joy? Do you want to have a joyful experience as you sleep? Do you want your body to respond to joyful thoughts so that they're healing and regenerating so that you can be stronger the next day? Or do you want to take to bed negative thoughts so that your body is going to respond to those negative thoughts and perhaps not be regenerating, not be strong, not be fighting any, diseases or viruses you may have picked up for the day? Pay attention. Pay attention to what you're feeding your body and your mind. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this, and we're going to talk about some of the other things to perhaps stop doing and start choosing to do. I'm still waiting for my first caller. If you'd like a free life coaching session, just give me a call. Pick up the phone. It's a free call, and it's easy, and I promise I won't embarrass you. Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue on the topic of joy in the midst of crazy. Thank you. Intuitive life coach, HR consultant, and crazy lady. Lots of people like to say. That's okay. I'm good with that. So we are talking about joy and how to choose to be in a life of joy continuously and purposelessly. And we're talking about how you can make a difference in your life and the lives of others by choosing joy, not just finding joy out there, but choosing to be in joy and finding it within yourself first. And we also have a caller on the line. Denise, are you there with us?
I am.
Hi, Denise. Thanks for calling today.
Thanks. I'm really nervous. This is the first time I ever call into a radio show.
Well, Denise, just pretend it's just you and me.
Okay.
Okay, good. So tell me, Denise, what do you do, or do you have a question about joy or finding joy?
My question, Christine, is I can find joy. I'm an artist, and I get joy painting. However, I find that every opportunity, every time someone turns around, there's negative everywhere. How do I keep that away? How do I keep my joy and let them express their negativity, but for it not to affect me?
Right.
I just seem to absorb it.
The first word that came up for me with you, Denise, is compassion.
Right.
Okay, so, did you always understand how to stay and how to focus on your joy? I mean, we're all students of learning this, right? Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people haven't learned this yet. And they don't realize that they can consciously be choosing that. So when you can look at them with compassion, okay, and know, really, on an intellectual level, Denise, focus over on them and say intellectually that negative that they're in right now is impacting them as a human being and as a beautiful soul in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay? And don't become a preacher of it, because nobody is going to listen, especially when they're in a really, really bad negative place, right? They need to be able to choose that first before they're going to look for answers. Mm-hmm. But when you can actually send them compassion, you are actually operating from your soul. And you're not going to feed into or start to put up a resistance, a wall of resistance to it. But instead, when you are in a place of compassion, the negative can actually flow by you.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Pretend like there's nothing sticks to you. Just allow it to move through and keep sending them compassion. And here's something that I say a lot of the times when I hear people talking negatively, when people are talking from a place of lack, when people are saying things like there's not enough money in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
I say to myself, I choose not that for me.
Right.
I choose not that for me. Does that make sense? Does that help, Denise?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling. You're actually my winner. You're my first caller. So please email me at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, and we will set up your free half-hour coaching session.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay.
Denise.
Bye.
It's so important, like Denise is saying, like, how do we stay in joy when there's all this around us? Well, there are other things to do. I've already talked about turn off the TV show, right? Turn off the negative news. What are you watching? Are you watching, a lot of violence? Is it impacting you? Do you pay attention to how you feel after you're finished watching something or listening to something? If you don't feel good, that's your signal. Maybe this isn't working for me. Maybe this isn't feeding me emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, the way I would like to be fed. And then, if you hear people gossiping, walk away. You have 2 feet. If you don't walk, maybe you're in a wheelchair. Roll away. If you can't move from where you are, perhaps putting headphones on or putting some light music in the background for yourself. You can move away from the gossip, because gossip is such a negative energy and it absolutely will impact you big time. When you hear yourself complaining, stop. Stop complaining and think, okay, is what I'm saying right now changing where I'm at or not? And if it's not going to change your experience, then stop complaining. Start looking for ways that you can improve your situation. Start reaching out to resources that can help you, okay? Very, very important. God gave us something He did not give any other creatures. Choice. What are you choosing for yourself today? You do have the power to make a difference in your world and the world around all of us. So choose to be in joy. Okay, we have another caller, Mary from Iowa. Mary, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Mary. Thank you for waiting. So do you have a question for us today, Mary?
Well, I was listening to what you were just talking about there, and I feel like I, do those things, and yet, some parts of life are still pretty heavy, and, how do you move through that? Like, finances and those kinds of things, things that you can't change immediately.
Okay, I love that the word that you finished with, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go from a place of deep, deep depression to a place of high, high joy in one switch, right? In one choice. It does take time, and it takes a process. And I think that's one of the most difficult things for people right now, because we live in such an instant world, Mary, that people are used to. We're, especially younger people, they are in a habit of having everything they want now, or connecting with people now. And having joy now when you're in a place of deep depression or you're just in a very frustrated place doesn't happen fast, but through consistent choices, Mary. So tell me something, Mary. Do you meditate at all?
Yes, every day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And are you focusing on the things that you want more than you're focusing on the things that are happening now in your life?
Yes. I'm becoming more and more aware of how important that is.
It is so impactful. And, do you ever listen to Esther and Jerry Hicks?
No, I haven't, but I do listen to a lot of, Seventh Wave and whatnot. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Esther and Jerry Hicks, even if you were to get their book, it will talk to you a lot more about focusing in where you want, the reality you want to create, as opposed to the reality that you're in today. And as you begin to do that, you're going to be moving more into that direction. Now, being in the now, one of the biggest things to do is to be grateful. So if you do not have a lot of money in your hands, because you brought up the situation of money,
mm-hmm.
if you don't have a lot of money, can you be grateful for the money that you have?
Mm-hmm.
Do you bless the money that you have?
I'm thankful when it's there. I mean, if that's what you mean, or I don't know if there's a more direct way to do that, or...
Being thankful when you have it is great. If you know about the law of attraction, Mary, do you know about the vacuum of prosperity?
The vacuum of prosperity? No,
yes.
I don't think so.
So when you send out money to the universe, just like the law of attraction is, if you're focusing on giving, the universe gives back to you. So each time, Mary, as you write a check out to pay your bills,
mm-hmm.
or you give cash out to pay for something that you're buying,
mm-hmm.
say in your heart and in your mind, I'm grateful for the money that I have to pay this bill. I'm grateful for the money that I have to send forth into the universe.
Okay.
Okay? And that, again, you're bringing in gratitude and thanks, and you're actually blessing the money. So you're not going to be vibrating in an anxious place when you actually receive bills or you have to pay something out, right?
Right.
And that's the law of attraction. That's a really great hands-on way to do it, is just to say, I'm grateful. The universe gives me bills because it knows that I can pay them. And understand that we are in a heavy negative energy place right now, Mary. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That's why it requires us to more consciously choose every single solitary day and keep practicing that, Mary.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Please email me, and then I will set up your angel card reading, and we can have another chat together.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. So if you want to make a difference in the world, choose to be in joy. It will catch like wildfire, and people will begin to notice that you smile a lot. You laugh a lot. You stand taller. You stand straighter. You will actually begin to look younger, and you will be attracting more experiences to be joyful about. You know, when I was younger, I sold Alouette Cosmetics, and I was 21 years old. And one of the sayings that we had was, fake it till you make it. Pretend to be successful. You know, like I was very, very young, and I didn't even have a business suit. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not a businesswoman. You know, I was just a young girl. But they said, fake it till you make it. So, you know, I would put on a business suit. I got a business suit. I put on high heels. I put on nylons. I put on my makeup. And I started to experience the experience of being a businesswoman. And then, before I knew it, that is exactly what I was. So when you want more joy, show up in more joy. Even play a game with yourself. Okay, today, no matter what, I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to find something to be joyful about. I challenge you to do that. And watch what happens. What do you have to lose? If you are living a life right now where you're not in joy, what do you have to lose? Ask yourself that question. I'm telling you, I'm putting that challenge out. I would love to hear from you. Email me. Let me know how you do. 3 days. The challenge is for 3 days. Put it out there and let me know what's going on. Okay, we're going for break. And when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this and some of the promotions that I've got going on and some of the great ways that you can continue to win. All right, stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Christine McIver. I am a life coach, an HR consultant, a mother, a friend, a sister, a neighbor. Who are you? Who are you choosing to be today? Are you choosing to be the person that is going to look outside and say, I'm grateful for the rain, that it's going to feed the grass? Or are you the person that looks outside and says, oh, it's raining again. I hate when it rains. Where do you want to be? Things around you are always going to be changing. But when you make a commitment to yourself every day to be in joy, you can ride the waves of life and not get stuck under them. Everybody has challenges. Everybody has a story. Don't think that you're alone. You're not alone. But we can all come together consciously and deliberately and choose what we're going to focus on, what we're going to be grateful for, and what we're going to continue to attract to us. And remember, like I was saying to Mary earlier, it's one step. Take one step today and one step tomorrow. 1% change a day over the next 30 days will have you shift 30%. If you choose to focus on your health, you will begin to feel healthier. You will begin to look healthier. If you begin to focus on your education, you will begin to feel more confident about your education because you will be feeding those thoughts into your mind. There's always going to be plenty to complain about and plenty of people blogging about one thing or another that is negative. If you want more of that, keep reading, keep listening. But if you want to be done with that, if you want more out of your life, the sweets are right here waiting for you, and you need to be consciously and deliberately choosing where you're going to focus. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. Well, find something to be grateful about, and your vibration will begin to change. Science can track that, as I said earlier. This is not fluffy, nice stuff. It's an actual fact. They can track your vibration. They can see how you are vibrating. And every single thing in this universe is vibration. Nothing is solid. I wasn't a science major by any means, but that part I got. Nothing is solid. We're all vibrating. What vibration are you going to put out there to the world? It is only one step at a time. It does not take a lot to do this, but it does take you consistently doing it. You know, sometimes it's tough at first. How can I be in joy when there's crazy all around me? Well, you know, you're going to stretch yourself. Remember, there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. We need to continuously and purposely be finding things to bring us joy. And it might be something as simply as having a clean bathroom. Maybe I'm grateful for this clean bathroom, even though I've locked myself in it, and this is all I've been doing all day. Find something to be grateful for. Find something to be joyful. And seriously choose to take a minute today and breathe. Take 3 deep breaths in and be grateful for the lungs that are working. Be grateful for the body that functions. Be grateful for the time that you are choosing to be here on earth. Your being here on earth is not a mistake. What are you going to do with this time? I do believe in reincarnation, but I do also believe that we, each of us, need to consciously choose to make this the best possible, round that we're having. I want to enjoy myself while I'm being here, but I have to make the choices to do that. Now, next week, we are going to have a very inspiring person on the show. His name is Chris Young. He runs Chris A, as in E-H, Young Enterprises. He lives in Ontario. We met earlier this week, and I was so inspired by the stories that he was sharing with me about his life and the journey he's been on and where he is at today. He's actually one of the speakers at our Marketplace event on Monday, and he talked about what are the 3 words that you want to be remembered for? What's the legacy that you are actually going to leave? Now, he spoke about this from a online social media perspective, but it really did resonate with me from a personal perspective too. Think about it yourself. What are the 3 words that you want to be left with people remembering about you? Chris has an amazing story. He's a very inspirational person, and I'm so excited to have him on the show next week. So check him out at his, he's on Facebook, Chris A. Young, Y-O-U-N-G Enterprises. And maybe read his story. His website is www.b2cy.com. Learn about Chris and call in or email in some questions for Chris for next week's show. Now, if you haven't been able to listen to all the shows, you can go to my website, inspiredchoices.ca, and all of the previous shows are posted there. Also, when you go there, you're going to notice I have a number of different promotions that I'm running. One of the promotions is when you refer 3 people to my Inspired Choices Facebook page, you too will receive a 30-minute coaching session for free. I want to connect with people. That's my desire. I'm not selling anything there. I'm just giving things away. And I know the people that are supposed to be attracted to me and my business, they will be attracted to me. That's how I choose to see things in the world. Now, that contest closes this Friday, September the 4th. So email me the people that you've referred, and we will set up your 30-minute coaching session. As well, if there are any packages on my website that you're interested in for coaching, if you mention any of the shows, the radio shows that you've been listening to, and what you've learned, it's that easy. You're going to get 20% off any of those packages. As I've said before, I have a deep desire to support others, and this is the way that I choose to do it. I'm also running a number of workshops. The workshop that's coming up, the next workshop that's coming up is called Increase Your Satisfaction in Life. This is going to be at the most 8 people. It's going to be a very moving life coach, bring together people where we can really truly choose to move forward in our lives. And how can we bring more satisfaction? You can insert joy, you can insert happiness in there. What are you going to do to move forward? And that's what we're going to be working on at the workshop. Then next Saturday, we're going to have another vision board workshop. That workshop went over with gangbusters. You want to focus on the better in your life. You want to focus on the things that you want to have in your life, feel, get a vision board up. We've also got webinars coming, and I'd like to know, and I would love to receive an email from you, what is it that you would like to hear about, learn about? Please email me and let me know what you would like me to be promoting as on the radio show. What would you like more of? How do you need to be supported? Now, this week, I would like to actually promote 2 books that I think are amazing and will help you to move forward in your life. This book was so amazing in a number of people's lives, and my dear friend Jackie actually gave it to me as a gift. She's also a client of mine, and it's called The Greatest Miracle in the World by Og Mandino. And I'm telling you, it's a quick read, it's an easy read, it's an impactful read. And I strongly encourage you, if you're looking for something to reach out for, I think it's one of the most impactful books I've ever read. Another fabulous book is called Happy for No Reason by Marcy Shimoff. It's a fabulous book at finding the joy within yourself before finding it outside of you. Remember to spend some time with yourself, spend some time focusing on what you want to bring to the world, create some new habits, and start to make a difference in your life and impact the world around you. You have the power to make things easier for yourself when you begin to choose to move in that direction. Now, please contact me at inspiredchoices.ca, or you can also connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Just Inspired Choices Inc. or inspiredchoices.ca. I would love to connect with you there. If there's ever anybody out there that is needing some inspiration, a friend of yours, someone that you care deeply about, please connect them with me, and I will do my very best to try and be helpful and inspiring to them. That's one of my 3 words, Chris. Inspiring. That's what I hope to be in the world. So next week we will be talking with Chris Young from Chris A. Young Enterprises, and we are going to be learning more about how we can be choosing to move forward in our lives and what's the difference that we can make in our lives by what we're focusing on. Chris is very inspirational, and he will definitely impact you, I'm sure. He had me very intrigued for quite some time. So thank you so much again for everyone choosing in today. I wish you the very, very best. Email me if you would like to get a free angel card reading, and email me with a question if you are too shy to call in today, and I probably will do it. I absolutely will do it. I'm just kidding. Make your life joyful. Choose to make your life joyful. It is a wonderful world if you can see it that way and you can see the prosperity that is all around you. I wish you all the very, very best. And remember, you always have a choice. All the best, my friends. Take care until next week. Bye now.